Hi, I'm Robert, and welcome back to another edition of the High Deseret Ranch channel. I'm filling up this tank behind me here at the old dairy next to the pig pens, and I have a few minutes while it's still filling up. But I thought I would talk about some things with you and share some insights that you may not have known about, and just the importance of knowing what you're putting on your table, and especially your meat as it relates to here in the United States. So come on and join me as I talk about the final day for some of these pigs, well, for all the pigs that are feeders, and then a few of these steers, only on the High Deseret Ranch channel. All right, so in the fading light of the sun of the day, as you can see, snow in the mountains, but not snow here on the ground. And if you're new to this channel, we are here at over 6,000 feet valley floor. Those mountains are over 11,000. Some are even pushing over 12, and it's dry. We had a couple inches of snow just right after Thanksgiving, and that's it. Which this time of year we should have probably close to a foot of snow on the ground on the level, but we haven't had anything. So that's a little worrisome to me. Yeah, as you can see, we've got part of the operation here where all the meat comes from over there. I've got the little feed lot where I'm feeding out some steers, and then just on the other side of that feed tank is the 6 pigs that will be to the butcher tomorrow. And I've got to go 2 different places, which it's some, if I could get the same day, I would. Especially now I've got a bigger trailer. With a separate compartment, I can actually, I'm gonna try and shoot for the same day, but it's just hard with the amount of numbers of pigs and cows that I take to try and get the same day at the same place. So I have to go 2 separate places tomorrow, and I might not have the help of my boys, which is gonna be a little rough, especially where I've definitely got a dilapidated working man setup that I inherited from my grandpa. It hasn't been working. It was like almost 10 years since it been even anything happening. So as you can see behind me, most of the buildings have fallen down. I'm trying to rebuild, but just like anything, it costs a lot of capital, especially animals, and just getting cash flow going. Cash flow is king. But so I thought about that is tomorrow will be the big day that I take another thing. It's always a big day for the ranch because it means a paycheck, and cash flow is king. Even if you're maybe not necessarily making money, you want to make money. You definitely don't want to be losing money, but you want to be making money, because otherwise you just have to close up shop. It's true with any business. But I thought about the people who have commented when they've tried my beef or my pork. They say, what are you doing different? Well, there's a lot of things. Just like us, animals are what they eat. So I try and use only the best grains and the best hay, and that makes all the difference. So I charge a little bit more because of that. There's some folks that, I'm not trying to bag on them, but because it's one thing to get day olds from the bakery and some old leftover produce, but I've seen some guys where they just mix it all up by the dump truck load, and then they scoop it up with the front loader of their tractor or skid steer, and it's moldy, it's disgusting, and that's all the pigs know. And when the pigs are so hungry, they'll just eat anything, which is true, but not true. If you're gonna give them, for me, I like to give them the best grains. And in fact, the boys will even tell you when it's being augured into the feed tank that I have here, I'll even eat it from the barrel. It's that speaks to what I feed my pigs. And it's something that if I can eat the grains, then I'm happy to feed it to the pigs, because they in turn provide excellent tasting pork, and that's what I give those who buy from the ranch. And that's all I tell people. I say it's all in the feed. That's what you get. And it's a nice feed recipe that I have. I've been experimenting with a few others that I might share, or at least give you my results, because there's different types of feed I feel that affect the quality and taste and performance of the pig. But speaking of feed and what goes into pigs, most people don't know this, and I don't know if I mentioned on my channel, but Back earlier this year, March, so it's been several months now, the FDA, because the FDA knows what's best for us, they approved a drug used to treat asthma to be in pork. And they get faster growth rates with the pigs, so naturally these big farms want to do that. The only problem is it's been banned in all but like 20 countries in the entire world, and we're one of 20 countries that allow this to be taken in effect into the pork. As much as I don't agree with a lot of what Europe does and the EU, this is something they outlawed decades ago because of the results that they found, but they're now allowing it in pork. So close to 85, let's just be safe, 80%, but they're saying upwards of 85% of all commercial pork, especially now that it's been several months, your pork is going to have this in it. And I find if you have to inject anything artificial and synthetic, it's not good, because that ends up on your dinner plate and inside you, and there's effects and side effects and consequences for all that. And so for me, my challenge, and it's always been my challenge on this channel, is support local. And that just, I know it's become like a buzzword or a cliche, but truly buy local, because for every dollar you spend, I don't care, name the store, big box store or whatnot, versus $1 with a rancher like me, it's almost 5 times the economic impact locally when you spend it with me, because I buy the corn from a local distributor. I buy my gas from the owner down the street, Maria. I buy the materials to build from the Ace Hardware store, which is locally owned by the neighbors. I buy excuse me, the hay that I have to buy, I buy it from my neighbor down the street. So the tractors and everything, any kind of help or things that I need, it's all with my neighbors, and it stays right there. And it can be the same with you. Whereas if I spend money at the big box store, yeah, there are people that help get things there, but a lot of the profit is going towards the rich shareholders, and they're making far more money than they know what to do with. Whereas any profit that I see, in addition, which sometimes I lose, it goes up and down. Any profit that I get literally is going to be turned right back into the farm operation I used to expand, to build extra pens, buy another cow for next year, because I want to help out my neighbors. Of course, I want to see myself succeed, but it's like I talked about, it's all about cash flow. And sometimes you make enough cash flow to keep the lights on and put fuel in the truck, and that's about it. But hey, if that's happening, you're doing pretty good, in my opinion. And you ask most farmers and ranchers, that's exactly it. There's not a lot of times that you prepare for the good years, and then you put away when the store up and the harvest when the years are good. So again, I can't stress enough that what they're doing to our food supply, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's not a hoax, it's not a myth, but it is flat out just it's not getting a lot of airtime. You have to have sources like I do, or you just have to be willing to do your homework to find those sources that are reputable to tell you what's going on. But when this is right on the FDA's website and the USDA, they're allowing this stuff to happen. And speaking of big pork manufacturers, I warned you, the Smithfield meats, I know a lot of the farmers are contracted with Smithfield meats, but they're owned by communist China. They took over in 2014, and now look, 10 years later, I know in Utah alone, where I'm at, 26 farms are being basically shut down. And I know I've read articles in North Carolina, Missouri, all across. Smithfield is closing down for whatever reason, but when they're owned by the Chinese communists, all those profits are going back to China. And I know some of the bigger farms, they're scrambling here just south of me to ship stuff all the way to the Midwest. Yes, that's right, the Midwest, Iowa, and parts of the plains, Nebraska. So you have them shipping pigs all the way, 2-day truck, 2 days in a truck to be processed because of craziness, local leaders here being myopic, but the main reason is because of California and all their draconian laws and regulations they're placing upon farmers. And that's a whole nother episode for another day. But anyways, I hope this is helpful for you, that it gave you a little bit of insight into what goes on here in a small time operation. I'm praying for snow, just like a lot of the people around here. It doesn't look like it's going to be a white Christmas, and we might not even see snow till the new year, which isn't good. If you're new to the channel, we get 14 inches of total precipitation a year, which includes the water content and the snowfall. So if we don't get the snow up in these mountains, it's going to be a rough year, and come next year in 2024. So fingers crossed, praying, doing whatever we can to make sure that that snow, that white stuff comes soon and in a good amount to get us through the hot summer months next year for our crops and animals, and even for our own sustaining. So it's getting dark and this tank is getting pretty full. I don't need it all the way full tonight, so I appreciate you coming along, and I hope that I was your ticket to help escape the ordinary and find out just what it's like to live the high life here in the high desert of the Intermountain West, only on the High Desert Ranch channel.